Welcome back, design students. In this video, we're going to create the cushions for the chair. So let's get started. I'm going to create a cube, and then let's move it up. And then let's use the scale tool to scale it a little bit. And we're more than likely not going to get it perfectly fit here. So what we're going to do is switch to face mode and then grab these faces and move them out so we can get it exactly like we want. And then we can also grab this front face and pull it up so it sits right on top of that cross piece there a little bit. And that one looks good. And then I'm going to grab this front edge here and move it back. And I'm going to grab this back edge here and move it back. And I'm doing this instead of just rotating the whole cube. I just feel like that's probably a little easier to do. Now let's have a look at our reference here. That cushion comes just about as far as we have it. Okay, but it doesn't look much like a cushion. So what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this cushion. And Maya has what's called a smooth preview function. And to view your object in a smoothed state, you push 2 on the keyboard. And you can also push 3 on the keyboard. And if you push 2, you'll see the preview of the original geometry. If you push 3, you will not see it. And if you push 1, you'll go back to the original geometry. So we're going to work with 2, so push 2 on your keyboard. And as you can see, this doesn't look much like a cushion anymore. We need to control the smoothing of this cushion. So we need to put what are called control loops on this cube so that we can control the smoothing. To put a control loop on here, the best tool to use is the multi-cut tool, which can be found right here. You could also use insert edge loop as well. But if you use the multi-cut tool, you can see that it'll allow you to cut edges. Now we want to cut an edge loop, so we're going to hold down Control, and when we do, you can see what happens here. You can place an edge loop. So let's place one about here, and then let's go over to the other side and place one about here. And I'm left-clicking my mouse to place them, and you can see how that controls the smoothing. And then I'm going to put one about here, and I'll put one about here. And now we have something that looks like a cushion. Now let's turn off the multi-cut tool by selecting another tool. We're going to select the move tool to make sure you're in edge mode. And I want you to double click this edge here on the front and drag it back and forth. Now you can see what happens when we move it. You can see that it distorts the cushion this way. Now we don't want that to happen, but we do want to move it around so we can control the smoothing here a little better. So to do that, to make that not distorted that way, we're going to constrain the movement of this edge along this edge. And we can do that in a couple of places. One place we can do it is in our modeling tools over here. Remember, we have these 3 tabs here. And if we select modeling tools, transform constraint is off. We can turn on edge slide. And when we do, you can see that that just simply slides down that edge. So we want this cushion to be kind of round in the front. So move that front edge back until it's round like that. And let's do the same thing to the back edge. And this edge, if we double click it, needs to be kind of tight up against the side here, not terribly so. And then to make the cushion look like it's been sat in, let's turn off transform constraint. You have to remember to turn this thing off, or things will really behaves strangely sometimes. And let's grab our multi-cut tool, hold down Control, and cut an edge in the center. And then let's switch to the Move tool, switch to Vertex mode, and grab these center vertices here and push them down. Give it kind of a sag in the middle there. Now it looks like here the smoothing took our the front of our cushion away from this crosspiece here. So to fix that, let's switch to face mode and grab that front face, and actually make sure we grab all three of these faces. And let's double click on the Move tool and change it to Component Orientation. And then we're going to pull that out in the X direction so that it sits on the front. Maybe you might have to adjust it a little bit. And then let's also double click this edge here, turn on Transform Constraint to Edge Slide, and slide that forward a little bit. And remember to always turn off Transform Constraint. Another place you can turn this on is in the Tool Settings, and it is right here. Okay, so just like last time, as a test, I want you to try to make the back cushion. And pay close attention to the way that it curves. It doesn't curve, it's not rounded in the front like this one, it's rounded around the sides. So these corners are more rounded and the end is a little more square. So your control loops are going to be slightly different. They're going to be the same, but they're going to be in different positions to control the smoothing. So I want you to try and do that yourself, and when I come back in the next video, I'll show you quickly how it was done. And I'll see you then.